stand together, Christ and I, in peace and certainty of purpose, and in Him is His Creator, as He is in me. My oneness with the Christ establishes me as your son, beyond the reach of time, and wholly free of every law but yours. I have no self except the Christ in me. I have no purpose but His own, and He is like His Father, and He is like His Father. Thus must I be one with you, as well as Him. For who is Christ except the Son, as you created Him? And what am I except the Christ, except the Christ in me? We stand together, Christ and I, in peace and certainty of purpose, and in Him is His Creator, as He is in me. We stand together, Christ and I, in peace and certainty of purpose, and in Him is His Creator, as He is in me. Well, thank you all so much for joining me. I'm Forgiveness Willie from the Ozarks, and that song, we stand together, Christ and I, in peace and certainty of purpose, and in Him is His Creator, as He is in me, is a G, F, and C, and then back to G. It's supposed to be 8 beats on the G, 4 beats on the F, and 4 beats on the C, and then back to the 8 beats on the G, and then another 8 beats to start the song over again. That's how it's supposed to be. I get it off a little bit, I think. So I think I've got it down, but I wouldn't be surprised if I listen to this and go, that's not really correct. I tell you that because I'd love for you to be able to use these simple chord progressions and songs in your own practice with a guitar or a piano. If it helps you, use keyboard or a guitar, and be able to sing along. And it helps me so much that I just want to offer that to you all if it can help you. Okay, let's take a look at the lesson. Let's read through it. We just sang through it. We stand together, Christ and I, in peace and certainty of purpose, and in Him is His Creator, as He is in me. My oneness with the Christ establishes me as your son, beyond the reach of time and wholly free of every law but yours. I have no self except the Christ in me. I have no purpose but His own, and He is like His Father. Thus must I be one with you as well as Him. For who is Christ except your Son, as you created Him? And what am I except the Christ in me? Everything else is an idol or an illusion, a make-believe, a conjured up imagination of who you think you are. That's why we want to climb the ladder of prayer. Get out of that. Come back to lesson 1, which we'll start with lesson 1 here on January 1 if you want to join me again. But lesson 1, nothing I see means anything. Have that open mind of going, I really don't know what everything means. I'm willing to be shown. That's what God can show us then. If you're so convinced it's hard to see. As a matter of fact, maybe you could say it's impossible until you change your mind. Okay, I'm Forgiveness Willie, teaching forgiveness from the Ozarks, and we're reading from the Foundation for Inner Peace version this year. I don't know if I even said it's lesson 354, Thursday, December 19th of 2024. It's Monday for me, a few days earlier. I post these things and try to get them up so that on the actual day you can have them. Sometimes it takes me 2 or 3 days to get them uploaded. So anyway, we had big rain last night. Like I said, today's Monday for me. Had big rain yesterday. Now it's kind of calm. And thank you all so much for joining me, though. Let's go take a look at what am I? What am I? And like I told you before, the chord progression of this song is C, E minor, F, and C. Of course, you don't have to use guitar to play. You can do Course in Miracles just by reading it. I read it for years, but then I've always played my guitar and kind of played around with the ideas, though. What am I? What am I? I am God's Son, complete and healed and whole, shining in the reflection of His love. In me is His creation, sanctified and guaranteed eternal life. In me is love perfected, fear impossible, and joy established without opposite. I am the holy home of God Himself. I am the heaven where His love resides. I am His holy sinlessness itself. For in my purity abides His own. For in my purity abides His own. Our use for words is almost over now. Yet in the final days of this 1 year, we gave to God together. Yet in the final days of this 1 year, we gave together, you and I. We found a single purpose that we shared, and thus you joined with me. So what I am are you as well. The truth of what we are is not for words to speak of nor describe. Yet we can realize our function here, and words can speak of this. Words can speak of this and teach it too. If we exemplify the words in us, be a good example. We are the bringers of salvation. We accept our part as saviors of the world, which through our joint forgiveness is redeemed. And this our gift is therefore given us. We look on everyone as brother, and perceive all things as kindly and as good. and perceive all things as kindly and as good. We do not seek a function that is past the gate of heaven. Knowledge will return when we have done our part. We are concerned only with giving welcome to the truth. We are concerned only with giving welcome to the truth. Ours are the eyes through which Christ's vision sees a world redeemed, redeemed from every thought of sin. Ours are the ears that hear the voice for God proclaim, the voice for God proclaim, the world less and less. Ours the minds that join together as we bless the world, and from the oneness that we have attained, we call to all our brothers, call to all our brothers, asking them to share our peace, asking them to share our peace and consummate our joy. We are the holy messengers of God who speak for Him, and carrying His word to everyone whom He has sent to us. We learn that it is written, written on our hearts, and thus our minds are changed about the aim for which we came, and which we seek to serve, and which we seek to serve. We bring glad tidings to the Son of God, who thought He suffered, now is He redeemed. And as He sees the gate of heaven stand open before Him, He will enter in and disappear into the heart of God. And He will enter in and disappear into the heart of God. Okay, well, let's go take a look at our supplement reading, Song of Prayer, and take along with you today. Be sure to do your longer meditation or prayer practice period, as Jesus calls it, early in the morning and late at night, right before you go to bed at night and as soon as you get up in the morning. I usually read my lesson the day before and get it all ready so I know what I'll be doing the next morning. And I start at my evening right before I go to bed. When I do my longer meditation, it's usually for the what's going to be the next day. I start my day as I'm going to bed that night for the lesson. We stand together, Christ and I, in peace and certainty of purpose, and in Him as His Creator as He is in me. And that way, when I get up in the morning, I kind of know what I'm going to be doing. And then I use that throughout the day, and then in the evening, for it's going to be the next days, I change over. So in the evening, if I had some particularly good meditation, I might go ahead and use the one I'd been using all day that day, and I usually do a little bit. I usually do that one, plus I do tomorrow's meditation. So I kind of do both of them in the evening, and I pick the one. I usually I don't want you to be too caught up. You only do one lesson a day, but there's a moment where you need to hand off the baton, is what I'm trying to say. So in the evenings when I hand off the baton for myself, and I try to go to sleep with the lesson for tomorrow on my mind, and like I did last night with the lesson for the day on my mind before I went to bed, okay? We stand together, Christ and I, in peace and certainty of purpose, and in Him as His Creator as He is in me. And be sure to do your hourly remembrances and thanksgiving throughout the day. Be sure to check in, make sure you're at peace, ask God for direction as you say your lesson throughout the day. Okay, and then in our song of prayer, chapter 1, prayer, section 3, praying for others. And I might mention that I've used a lot of different paths throughout the year, throughout my life. Looked at a lot of different ways, yoga particularly, Native American practices, and I like all those, and they've integrated and become a part of me in a lot of ways. I find A Course in Miracles is one that I really like to stick with every day, though, just because it's set up for a daily practice, and it's every year, every day I get new insights. It's been, and I would encourage you to consider it to be a path that you might want to take more than just 1 year. You might need to do it like me. I've been doing it now, I think, since I got the book in 92, and I've been doing it every year since 92. And I keep getting new stuff. I mean, lots of new. I think I'm getting more now than I got way back in 92 when I first started. Well, actually, I didn't start reading it until 93, really. I think I was exposed to it even a few years before that. But anyway, we said that, praying for others. We said that prayer is always for yourself, and this is so. Why then should you pray for others at all? And if you should, how should you do it? Praying for others, if rightly understood, becomes a means for lifting your projections of guilt from your brother and enabling you to recognize it is not he who is hurting you. The poisonous thought that he is your enemy, your evil counterpart, your nemesis, must be relinquished before you can be saved from guilt. For this is the means in prayer of rising power and the ascending goals until it reaches even up to God. The earlier forms of prayer at the bottom of the ladder will not be free from envy and malice. They call for vengeance, not for love. Nor do they come from one who understands that they are calls for death, made out of fear by those who cherish guilt. They call upon a vengeful God, and it is he who seems to answer them. Hell cannot be asked for another, and then escaped by him who asks for it. Only those who are in hell can ask for hell. Those who have been forgiven and who accept their forgiveness could never make a prayer like that. Boy, to see someone as an enemy and ask God to let you win and for them to be set aside or for them to go to hell just shows that you're still in hell. So use the ladder of prayer. Pray for them. Pray for your enemies. That's the way to rise yourself out of hell. At these levels, then, the learning goal must be to recognize that prayer will bring an answer only in the form in which the prayer was made. This is enough. In other words, a prayer is your wishes, your desires, your hopes for. And if you can learn that much about that you've been asking for the wrong things, that what's going to make you happy needs to be the will of God, the Christ in you. We stand together, Christ and I, in peace and certainty of purpose, and in him as his creator, as he is in me. At these levels, then, the learning goal must be to recognize that prayer will bring an answer only in the form in which the prayer was made. This is enough. From here, it will be an easy step to the next levels. The next ascent begins with this: what I have asked for my brother is not what I would have. Thus have I made of him my enemy. It is apparent that this step cannot be reached by anyone who sees no value or advantage to himself in setting others free. This may be long delayed because it may seem to be dangerous instead of merciful. To the guilty, there seems indeed to be a real advantage in having enemies, and this imagined gain must go if enemies are to be set free. Paragraph 4. Guilt must be given up, not concealed. Nor can this be done without some pain, and a glimpse of the merciful nature of this step may for some time be followed by a deep retreat into fear. In other words, you have to see what you've been doing before you can let it go. So it might bring about a little bit of pain, and it will, as you see what you've been holding on to. But you want to bring it into focus long enough to see what you've been doing so you can let it go forever. And then it doesn't have to have any pain on you at all. Move right on into joy. Let the pain be a reminder that you need a new way of seeing things. You need a miracle. You need forgiveness. For fear's defenses are fearful in themselves, and when they are recognized, they bring their fear with them. Yet what advantage has an illusion of escape ever brought a prisoner? His real escape from guilt can lie only in the recognition that the guilt has gone. And how can this be recognized as long as he hides it in another and does not see it as his own? See it as his own. Fear of escape makes it difficult to welcome freedom. Fear of escape makes it difficult to welcome freedom, and to make a jailer of an enemy seems to be safety. How then can he be released without an insane fear for yourself? How then can he be released without an insane fear for yourself? You have made of him your salvation and your escape from guilt. Your investment in this escape is heavy, and your fear of letting it go is strong. Paragraph 5. Stand still an instant now, and think what you have done. Do not forget that it is you who did it, and who can therefore let it go. Hold out your hand to your enemy. Hold out your hand. This enemy has come to bless you. Take his blessing and feel how your heart is lifted and your fear released. Do not hold on to it, nor on to him. He is the Son of God along with you. He is no jailer, but a messenger of Christ. Be this to him, that you may see him thus. Wow. There's been many times where I felt a little bit afraid, and then I thought, this is my brother here to help me. And I just changed my mind. And all of a sudden, I received that joy. And the last paragraph, 6. It is not easy to realize that prayers for things, for status, for human love, for external gifts of any kind are always made to set up jailers and to hide from guilt. Now that's quite a sentence. Let's read it again, but make sure you take this and look how deep. This is quite a statement he's making. It is not easy to realize that prayers for things, for status, for human love, for external gifts of any kind are always made to set up jailers and to hide from guilt. These things are used for goals that substitute for God and therefore distort the purpose of prayer. The desire for them is the prayer. We've been asking for things that are not according to the Christ in us. We want to move our prayers from prayers for things outside of ourselves to more of a meditation of recognizing that we want to just, the secret of prayer, remember, is to let go all things you think you want. That moves it from prayer to meditation. You might think of it that way. These things are used for goals that substitute for God and therefore distort the purpose of prayer. The desire for them is the prayer. One need not ask explicitly. The goal of God is lost in the quest for lesser goals of any kind, and prayer becomes requests for enemies. The power of prayer can be quite clearly recognized even in this. No one who wants an enemy will fail to find one, but just as surely will he lose the only true goal that is given him. Think of the cost and understand it well. All other goals are at the cost of God. What do we want to know? God? We want to remember God? Well, then we need to let go of all prayers for things outside of ourselves. And God will give you what you need outside yourself. You don't need to put that together. It'll happen effortlessly. You don't even have to ask for it. Okay, what's going on around the world? It's holiday from Holidays and Observances. The Ilex is the genus. There's a 570 species of holly. The English holly, the holly aquifolium, is one of those 570. Look for an evergreen day, and I'm sitting in front of, in background, there's a Juniper virginiana, eastern red cedar. a little one right over here too. And then the western red cedar, the Thuja plicata, I've got one. Got it for a little Christmas tree, and I figured, well, of course I'll plant it. And I think this is the way Christmas trees ought to be. Grow a little tree and make sure it makes it to the ground. A Thuja plicata, the western red cedar. These are the big trees that grow and that we make them into lumber. Oatmeal Muffin Day, the Avena Sativa Emo Day, Hard Candy Day, Regifting Day, Repurpose Used Gifts, and out of Seed Savers Exchange, we've got another Beta vulgaris, and it's the Albino beet, a beet variety from the Netherlands, completely white, sweet roots, and delicious flavor. This beet never stains, for best color and devoid green tops. Blanch roots by hilling up the soil. 50 days. Okay, and I think we all know what to do in our practice. We stand together, Christ and I. Thanks again for joining me. We stand together, Christ and I, in peace and certainty of purpose. In Him is His Creator, as He is in me. My oneness with the Christ establishes me as your son. Beyond the reach of time, and wholly free of every law but yours. I have no self except the Christ in me. I have no purpose but His own. And He is like His Father, and He is like His Father. Thus must I be one with you, as well as Him. For who is Christ except the Son, as you created Him? And what am I except the Christ, except the Christ in me? We stand together, Christ and I, in peace and certainty of purpose. And in Him is His Creator, as He is in me. We stand together, Christ and I, in peace and certainty of purpose. And in Him is His Creator, as He is in me. Well, thanks again for joining me today. Out of our word for peace, out of the Yoruba people of West Africa, coastal West Africa, of Nigeria mainly. And the word for peace is Eyeh. I think it's E-Y-E-H. Eyeh. That's why I'm going to say it. Eyeh. Eyeh. Eyeh be with you. Peace be with you. Eyeh. We stand together, Christ and I, in peace and certainty of purpose. And in Him is His Creator, as He is in me. Eyeh.